This is the first screen you will see when you log into HOKU for the first time. You will have two options, new enrollment or track application. If you are a new Hawaii Medicaid provider, you will select new enrollment. If you are a Hawaii Medicaid provider and received a letter with your application ID number, you will select Track Application and input your application ID number on the next page. As a new provider, you will need to select an enrollment type. To find out which enrollment type your provider type is categorized as, please visit the HOKU webpage at medquest.hawaii.gov/HOKU and click on the Resources tab. Then click on the HOKU Waves and Provider Enrollment Type link. Close the HOKU webpage and select your enrollment type and click Submit. All fields on this screen with an asterisk are required fields and need to be filled in. Here you would enter your first name, last name, select your gender, social security number, date of birth. No need to select applicant type because by default HOKU is already set to rendering servicing only, and add your NPI. Since you are an individual sole proprietor, select proprietary individual and select for-profit closely held. Now add your address. If there is a suite number, enter it in the address line 2 field. Then skip to the zip code field and enter your zip code and click Validate Address. HOKU will then auto-populate the other fields on the screen for you. Then click Finish. Please ensure you jot down your application ID number on a piece of paper. You will receive an email with your application ID number within 24 hours, but it is handy to have your application ID written down somewhere so you can quickly reference and pull up your application later. Click OK at the bottom of your screen. On your dashboard, you will see that Step 1 with your basic information is now complete. For Step 2, click the hyperlink called Add Correspondence Address. Click Add. All fields with an asterisk are required fields and need to be filled in. First, add your phone number and select your communication preference. You can select whether to be communicated through email or standard mail. Then enter your email address, street address, and then enter your zip code. Click Validate Address to auto-populate the rest of the required fields on the screen. Then click OK and close. Step 3 is the provider type. Click the hyperlink, then click Add. Being a provider, you will need to select your provider type. For example, here we are selecting MD Physician. As for specialty, you will need to select General Practice as a physician, and then you are done. Click OK. Once you click Provider Type, click Close, and the rest of the fields will display. Please note that Steps 1, 2, and 3 are required to continue with the rest of your application. HOKU ensures you select your provider type so DHS MedQuest knows which licenses and which documents need to be uploaded. Associated biller in step 4 is your pay-to, or the people you are working for. So if you are working for Queen's Hospital, for example, you would click Add. It is important to note that you will need your employer's NPI number of MedQuest ID number to proceed with your application in HOKU. On this screen, select the number from the Type drop-down menu. Enter the ID number in the ID field and click the date picker icon in the Start Date field. For the Start Date field, select your employment start date, then click OK. On this screen, you can see that the number you selected, an NPI number or Medicaid ID number, has been added to your application. On your dashboard here, you will see that all 4 steps are complete. The next step is step 5, where you will be adding a copy of your license, certifications, and other credentials needed to verify your identity. Click the hyperlink Add License, Certification Other. As a reference, MedQuest has posted a table with the required licenses and certifications for each provider type at medquest.hawaii.gov/HOKU. Click on the Resources tab and then click on the link Required and Optional Licenses, Certificates, and Documents by Provider Type. This table indicates the required licenses and certifications for each provider type. Close the web page. Click Add. Select the license or certification that you will need based on your job position. For example, as a physician, you would select the Hawaii Board of Medical Examiners from the drop-down menu. Enter your license or certification number and the effective date by clicking the calendar. The effective date in HOKU is when your license was deemed effective. Your end date is when your license expires. Select an end date by clicking on the calendar icon, then click OK. Use this screen to add more licenses or certifications to your application. As a physician, and if you prescribe, click Add. Then select Drug Enforcement Agency from the License and Certification drop-down menu. Enter the DEA number in the license or certification or other number field. Click the calendar icon and select the effective date of your DEA license. Then select the calendar icon to select when your license expires. Click OK. Click Add. If you are a physician and have a DEA license, you will also need your Narcotics Enforcement Division license. Select Narcotics Enforcement Division from the drop-down menu. Enter your narcotics license number and select the calendar icon to select the effective date of your license. Then select the calendar icon to add when your license expires and click OK at the bottom of the screen. Once you've finished adding all your licenses, click Close. Step 5 is now complete. Next is Step 6, which is additional information. Click Add to add authorized representatives from your billing group. Enter the first name of the representative, last name, middle name, and add the start date of when you would like to add them as an authorized user. Don't forget to select the end date of when you would like to have the person end as an authorized user, and click OK. If everything looks okay to you on this screen, click Close. Step 6 is now complete. Step 7 is optional, but you still need to mark it as complete even if you don't have information to fill in this section. To mark it as complete, click the Step hyperlink, then click Close. Step 7 is now marked as complete. Next is Step 8. Click the hyperlink called Add Taxonomy Details, then click Add. If you do not know your taxonomy, click the arrow next to the Taxonomy Code field. On this screen, MedQuest Division staff like to use the F8 or Find key to look up their provider type number. After you press the F8 key, type in your provider type and press Enter. When your keywords are found, it will highlight yellow. Next, copy the number next to your provider type and close the window. Next, click Add. In the Taxonomy Code field, paste the provider type number that you copied from the previous screen. For the Start Date field, enter today's date. Then click Confirm Taxonomy at the bottom of your screen. If it is a legitimate taxonomy number, no error message will display. Then click OK. Double-check this screen to ensure your provider type displays under the description column. Then click Close. Next is Step 9, which is where you will upload documents such as copies of licenses and certifications to verify your identity. Click the hyperlink called Upload Documents. Then click Add. Select the document type you are uploading to HOKU from the drop-down menu. For example, as a general provider, you would select General and select the document name from the Document Name drop-down menu. Select your file for upload by clicking Choose File. Click Open. Add as many documents as required for verification purposes. Click OK. Click Close. Step 9 is now complete. Next is Step 10, where you will complete the enrollment checklist. This is primarily for providers that started their application prior to completing their application in HOKU. Click the hyperlink called Complete Enrollment Checklist. If you need to request a retroactive or future enrollment date, select Yes under the Answer column in the first question and add your comments in the Comments column. Then answer the rest of the questions on the checklist. Select Yes, Not Completed, or No from the drop-down menus. Then click Save at the top of the screen and click Close. Step 10 is now complete. Now click the hyperlink called Submit Enrollment Application for approval. This is the last step in HOKU. Click Next to advance to the disclosure page. After you read the disclosure, scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click the checkbox. Then click Submit Application at the top of your screen. Your enrollment in HOKU is now complete. The message will display at the top of your screen saying, "Your application number has been successfully submitted for state review." Return with this application number to track the status of your application. If you would like to track the status of your application, select Track Application from the Provider menu. Then enter your application number in the Application ID field. Click Next. A message will then display saying, "Your application is currently in review by the Provider Enrollment Unit. You cannot make any modifications to your enrollment information at this time.
Mahalo for attending this training for HOKU, Hawaii's Online Kahu Utility System, MedQuest's new web-based provider enrollment system. We hope it was helpful. More information about HOKU can be found on MedQuest's website, medquest.hawaii.gov. Finally, on behalf of MedQuest, mahalo nui loa to you and for your commitment to Hawaii's Medicaid beneficiaries. Aloha.